Well, first I want to wish all of you a good evening. It looks like there are people who still congratulate me as I was walking in for winning the election, and I just realized that it's time to run again. But I'm pleased, and my heart is warm knowing that many of you continue to support me, and many of you are here tonight as you were 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and many other times prior to that. I am extremely humbled to know that people continue to support me and continue to recognize the work that we do. Many of you understand that the work that I do is certainly challenging. It certainly is not something that can be done overnight. And I appreciate many of your patience, many of you who have a hope, have a dream, have something that want to happen, but at the same time recognize that it does take a little bit longer to accomplish those particular things. Sometimes people want it faster than later. Well, that's wonderful. But that faster means it costs more money. It also costs more coalition. And many of the work that I do is about building that bridge and developing a cohesive group. But nonetheless, here we go again with another campaign. As we embark on this campaign, as many of you know, campaigns can be negative. Campaigns can look like something that we are not proud of. We saw it in the last campaign. The threatening letters that told me to go back home a refugee, the letters that told me that they're going to hurt my family, those things don't deter me. I always tell people, I survived the killing fields of Laos. Do you think that I'm going to be deterred by somebody threatening with a letter? There's no place for hate in the city of Elk Grove. There's no place for people of that sort. Remember, the truth does matter in campaigns. If you didn't see it with your own eyes, if you didn't hear it with your own ears, then don't believe it. Don't believe it until you talk to me. Don't believe it until you see it. Part of this job, being a leader, is about making tough choices. And I've seen it as being mayor in this city. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions that would separate me from others. This doesn't make other people feel comfortable, but I think it's the obligation of the mayor to make sure that he fights for the people of Elk Grove, that he fights for the jobs, he fights for inclusion, he builds a bridge for all of our communities. You may see that sometimes I stand apart from other politicians, including those on our city council. I do that with no fear, because I do it with full conviction that I'm doing the right thing, standing on my ground, making sure that the people in our city are protected. I stand up for Elk Grove residents. I stand up for Elk Grove, for everyone in Elk Grove to feel included in the city. When I stand up for jobs. I stand up for public safety. I stand up for infrastructure and amenities. I stand up for stronger neighborhoods. These are 4 priorities in which I have shared with many of you when I ran for mayor. I continue to be convicted and support those particular priorities. Jobs. We've talked about jobs so many times. What does it really mean? Tonight we have in the audience members of the North State University. We have the president, Yama Chang. We have Dr. Shu, we have Dr. Pan, and a few other board members who are coming. And the reason why I mention this is when I got elected to the city council, I had the privilege of being given a private tour of the coming medical school. Today we have the medical school. We have the pharmacy school that moved down from a little bit north of us. And all of that was possible because of Norm De Young, to my right, who gave me the opportunity to tour that with more than I say this because this particular university, this medical school, this pharmacy school, and many other health schools that will be coming to the city of Elk Grove, I support entirely. I've been there from the beginning. Don't let anyone tell you that they can claim credit for it, because the trustees have worked so hard, and the person who does that does not give any sort of acknowledgement to them. I know that this is only possible because we have people that are part of this board of trustees for the university that hustles. That's why the city of Elk Grove continue to benefit from this economic magnet that will boom the economic development in the city of Elk Grove. The medical school, the pharmacy school, and the many other schools soon to come will be the catalyst for economic development. And I'm a proud supporter of that university to the nth power. In addition to that, we've seen many developments come into the city of Elk Grove, particularly private ones. One that you have heard of and one that you will be seeing is Costco. Costco is something that we have been working on for a very long time. And we were on the verge of losing it to Delta Shores, to Sacramento. What it takes to bring that together involves being the mayor and pulling everyone together. Asking people to set their egos aside and moving forward so that we can put these things in places that are open. Open fields do not generate any revenues for the city. We need places like Costco in our city. I'm proud to say that I am part of that and was able to pull together the necessary people to make that possible. Many of the other things that we talked about are biotech districts. Private conversations I've had with private entities, which I cannot reveal, have talked about the possibilities of developing Oak Grove to the point where we're more than just retail. That we would embrace biotech, possibly a biotech district. That we would market vaccines and medicines to China and India. We just got back from China, having a conversation with the governor of Winshan, the governor of Guangzhou, the governor of Yushu, talking about the possibilities of a little town called Elk Grove that will be on the verge of developing drugs and vaccines where we will be competitive in these foreign countries and will be able to market them abroad. These types of concepts, these types of ideas will revolutionize the city of Elk Grove. We are more than just retail spaces. We are a place in which we, by doing the right thing, will be able to embrace some of these possibilities as we embark on this journey. When I ran for mayor, I talked about public safety. I talked about how important it is. I talked about how local politicians have a tendency to dream a little and want to get involved in national politics. That's wonderful. But I think the basic principle of local municipalities is to make sure that our citizens are safe. It was a priority for me then, it is now. When I became your mayor, I pushed hard and had a discussion with the chief and the city manager about making sure that we have two sworn officer and one non-sworn in the next 5 years. As I stand before you now, I can say that I pushed beyond that and support the 5 officers per year and 2 non-sworn officers so that we can keep up with the population growth in the city of Elk Grove. The number one responsibility of a city council is to make sure that their citizens are kept safe. We talk about public safety. My dream is before I leave as your mayor, before I retire, I hope and I dream that the domino will be started with building a hospital here in Elk Grove. It is very difficult. It isn't easy. But at least I'm thinking about it and I'm hoping for it and I'm praying that with my work as I develop this and develop the partnership within the community, we'll be able to accomplish this. Infrastructure and amenities. Talked about that quite a lot. I had the opportunity to break ground, and as we see, the aquatic center is being finished in the city of Elk Grove. Just had the opportunity not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, to break ground with a senior in the Veterans Hall. Following that, we will have another opportunity to see a groundbreaking for the animal shelter. We have plans in the works for Cameron Road to extend all the way to I-5, to connect the lower part of it as a further extension of the southeast connector. These are things that I want. These are things that I dream of. These are things that I support. In order for Elk Grove to have that booming economy, in order for Elk Grove to move to the next direction, we have to make sure that these are things that are in place. Infrastructure and amenities, real things that will come to the city of Elk Grove. As a part of that, the thing that I always talk about is stronger neighborhoods. Many of you know that I took part in starting the Franklin Neighborhood Association. In addition to that, I've had additional conversations with different groups, different neighborhoods across the city about starting other organizations, associations that will be able to support and also communicate with city leaders so that we know what the community wants. As a part of that, as part of being mayor, it also means sitting down and having conversations with various groups in Elk Grove. I call these listening tours. I don't go out and talk about things that we're doing in the city, but I go out and listen to them. This year, I've been able to complete my tour of all the homeowners association. I look forward to continuing that, and I truly believe that's part of making a stronger neighborhood so that we can have a stronger city. I've been true to these priorities since the beginning. And what I find in Elk Grove that's pretty profound, and I know many of you will agree, is that it was only 18 years ago that we decided to incorporate. As Donna shared earlier, she was here when it happened. My family has only been here for 20 years, but we took part in voting for incorporation. Remember, Elk Grove residents, we banded together to incorporate and forge a brighter future that sought to remove our bedroom community, branding and creating a city that determines its own destiny in this region. The vision for the future has remained the same, to provide a high quality of life for all generations, to build upon the community's diversity and heritage through safe and connected neighborhoods that are welcoming to all, and to provide diverse residential education, employment, choices, and amenities that would create a sense of place. We've made a lot of progress in the last 18 years, but of course, there's still many more to do, many things to do. This year, what you will witness with some of the projects that I mentioned is actual bricks and mortar projects that will come to life. The Civic Center, commercial projects like Costco, so many others as well. But I have to say that there have also been disappointments. Many of you have seen that abandoned mall. That was the reason why I ran for city council in the first place. We sent a clear message to Howard Hughes, the company that owns that mall. We made it clear that we want that mall built. The efforts by city staff, the effort by myself, has been 100%. We want that mall built. But the progress of that mall is dependent upon that private developer and what they want to see happen. At the same time, we are patient, but certainly our patience is running thin. Many of you look to that mall and are reminded of that recession, of that failure. I am with you all the way. When I talk to Howard Hughes, I ask him when. You see the sign down at the mall suggesting a certain time, but honestly, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if that mall can be built at that time. I'm hoping that it does happen. And certainly by the efforts of the city staff and also myself, we're encouraging them to get that mall built. The Elk Grove Collection is what we are calling it, and it's proposed to have a mix of full price and factory stores, elevated dining, movies, entertainment combined with the Wilton Rancheria. That's right, the Wilton Rancheria. It's on its way. Regardless of what your feelings are with gambling, I made it clear from the beginning, I wasn't going to be supporting a casino. But as the mayor, what was important to me is I had to support jobs. It was a tough decision for me, but I made the decision to vote for the MOU that will guarantee $132 million for our city. I didn't move into Elk Grove knowing that potentially there could be a casino here. I moved into Elk Grove because I love the community. I love the beautiful streets. And my commitment to that continues to be the same. Our commitment to building the local economy and increasing the number of jobs in Elk Grove remains the same. I certainly have always talked about jobs. And as we saw in November, Elk Grove became the first city in the region to participate in the RISE program. We adjusted our cash investment to infuse $50 million into our community banks to encourage economic development, both within our local businesses and the larger the larger economy. Through access to business banking capital and to encourage the entrepreneurial spirit within our community, we continue to introduce new business incentive programs. One of the programs that I've been champion of is our Brewery and Winery Incentive and Assistance Program, which has helped 2 new breweries come into the city of Elk Grove this past year. And we supported the relocation expansion of Tiltamash Brewing Company. And we are actively scouting for other businesses like this that would support not just the economy, but the lifestyle and the nightlife of our residents and what our residents want. As we prepare to host the 3rd annual Elk Grove Brew Fest with beers and sack, we're continuing to connect craft brew entrepreneurs and regional developers to encourage new dining and entrepreneurial projects. We want more lifestyles, retail amenities in Elk Grove. The opening of Costco, as I mentioned earlier, which will happen this summer, is already inspiring new interest by other retailers who are taking a first or second look at Elk Grove. We want to take advantage of those interests and generate new lifestyle centers where we can go eat, shop, and play. I've been supportive of a concept with a private developer to develop something that would support that lifestyle center, North of our Civic Center. More shopping, dining, entertainment options in proximity to where residents and visitors will gather for events and tournaments that will yield the kind of amenities and experiences that our community really wants and needs. The kind of innovations will bring new jobs, attract new business beyond retailers. The kind of living wage that we all want to find a way in Elk Grove. It is my inherent wish to foster new growth and serve our residents who are already here, who are tired of traveling outside of our town to have these kinds of experience. These are projects that are being planned. These certainly won't happen overnight, and they certainly are a work in progress. Building infrastructure and fostering economic development are important, viable ways for the city government to contribute to the quality of life in Elk Grove. But over the past year, we've seen social issues arise in our city that present greater challenges that no one agency, one local government can tackle. As I shared with you, I was a subject of hatred as well. But I truly believe that those are too far in between. I truly believe that the city of Elk Grove has solid, good quality people. We cannot let 1 or 2 individuals ruin it for the rest of us. When people ask me, how do you feel about the hate speech in Elk Grove? I said, that's only one person who did it. Sure, we're concerned, and we're going to make efforts to address it. But more importantly, the bulk of Elk Grove, the many numerous residents in which I've knocked on their doors, they're positive, loving people. They're welcoming people. The city of Elk Grove is one of those all-American cities that we should be. But people have come to the city seeking action, and looking for answers to solve issues like hate and homelessness. We've hosted town hall. We've explored topics like implicit bias and how each of us is hardwired to see the world and others in different ways. And we are working with new partners to reevaluate how the city hires employees and how we serve our community. I remain committed to continuing the conversation on racism, promoting Elk Grove as no place for hate. We recognize that racism is a difficult issue to discuss, let alone tackle. It is a problem that knows no city limits or district borders and is equally damaging on the streets and parks as it is in the classroom and on the school grounds. No one agency can combat it alone. We are working in partnership with the CSD, the Elk Grove Unified School District, the city's multicultural committee, and our community members. We will continue to work to identify and implement strategies to create meaningful change. We know we can do better, and we certainly will. We need to ensure that each resident has the freedom to live in a city without hate. It is just one of the city's challenges. We have to make sure that every Elk Grove resident, especially our youngest residents, have the common necessities like food and shelter. Just last month, the city was selected by Bloomberg Philanthropies as one of the 35 champion cities to compete in the 2018 Mayor's Challenge. The city proposed to introduce a universal standardized online rental application to connect low-income residents with rental property. Residents can qualify more easily and efficiently to keep more of the money that they have in their pocket for rent and living expenses instead of rental application and costly credit credit check. By improving the rental application process, we could assist nearly 1,000 low-income households in our city every year and create a blueprint that could help countless others in California and throughout the country. This is pretty exciting for me. City staff will use the next 6 months to plan, build, and test a concept with up to $100,000 from Bloomberg Philanthropies in funding this project. If selected as a finalist in October, the city can receive $1 million to $5 million to implement this concept. Isn't that tremendous? I think that's great. Elk Grove is not only a safe place to live, but we welcome those who want to be a part of this community as well. Certainly with all the innovation efforts in mind, it should really come as no shock to any of you that we being the city of Elk Grove and myself, we don't have all the answers. Someone once said nobody can do everything, but everyone can do something. No matter how hard I might want to have things happen, I cannot solve these things alone. It continues to be a partnership with the community and a partnership with stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your mayor. I'm running for re-election. Thank you all for being here. God bless you. God bless this city. And God bless this great country called the United States of America.